Welcome to day number 7 of our video challenge. Today we're going to learn why it sometimes makes more sense to give a little before you can take. And the concept I'm talking about here is reciprocity. And you would be amazed how much you can achieve with little favors. So reciprocity is one of Cialdini's 6 weapons of influence. Yeah, I know, I'm referring to him again and again and again. But quite honestly, I will go on doing so because his shit is so damn good. So now, go out and buy at least that book Influence from him. Everything he's published is great, but Influence is his masterpiece. Go out and buy it. But back to the topic, today we're talking about reciprocity. In this video we're going to cover why reciprocity works, how you can apply it yourself, and how you can fight it if you have the fear that someone uses reciprocity against your interests. Brian Tracy, the great American sales coach, just said once, or boiled down the law of reciprocity down to this simple statement. If you do something nice for me, I'll do something nice for you. I feel obliged to reciprocate. But why is that? Why does that work so well? Why do we feel the urge to give back if we receive small, meaningless presents by our suppliers, for example? Why does a simple dinner invitation work so well when it comes to prepping an important multi-thousand-dollar negotiation? The reason is quite simple, because it's hardwired in our brains. To better understand that, we have to go back tens of thousands of years to our ancestors Ung and Onk in their cave. When Ung and Onk, our grandparents, well, you know what I mean, sat around the fireplace, their society was based on reciprocity, because reciprocity and reciprocation was crucial for them, for their survival. Some had to take care of the family, of the gene pool, so to say. Some had to take care of the food, the hunters. Some were guards that guarded the tribe, and so on and so on. If everyone only would have cared for themselves, the tribe would not have survived. This early task sharing and reciprocating for it is crucial human behavior. And that's why evolution thought, hey, that might be a clever idea, this reciprocity thing, so let's just anchor it in these Homo sapiens genes somehow. Back to the library. We actually can't stand an open debt when it comes to favors. And the interesting thing, as Cialdini says, is that it is an uninvited debt. We didn't plan for that, we weren't expecting it, and that makes it so powerful. So now that we're back in the library here from our ancestors Uncle Ung and Auntie Ank, let's see how we can apply reciprocity for ourselves, for our own purposes. It's quite simple. Do your suppliers some favors. Let me tell you a story. I once had a supplier who loved Coke Light, and usually our vending machine was not serving that. So I sent someone out and say, hey, can you get me 6 bottles of Coke Light for a whole day meeting? And quite honestly, this otherwise quite hardball negotiator was very friendly and open and constructive in that specific meeting. I also have a bunch of branded notepads, branded pens, some little sweets, where I prep a little package right before a face-to-face negotiation and just put it on our suppliers' places and where they sit, and it works wonders. And also very powerful, one thing I mentioned already, food. Food is sharing food, and especially inviting someone to eat with you is a very powerful weapon. Some idea for you, not after your negotiation, but before your next important negotiation. Plan for a breakfast, for lunch, maybe the evening before, for some dinner. Best works when it happens right before the negotiation. That's an amazing tactic, because it not only serves the law of reciprocity, but eating together also creates strong social bonds. One cornerstone of this whole reciprocity approach, of course, is that it's somewhat uninvited and comes as a surprise. If they were expecting it, it loses some of its power, at least. So maybe you do not announce it, but you plan for it in your agenda, for example. And of course, that also means you cannot use it always with the same people, because at a certain point in time, they have a pile of notepads from you and it's not that impactful anymore. So now that we have covered some tricks of the trade, how can you fight the reciprocity tactic? Well, there's basically two things you can do. The easiest, and also to a certain extent the hardest part, because it's hard to find out, but the easiest way is to avoid these reciprocity situations at all. If you're invited for dinner, you say, I love to take lunch with you, but quite honestly, I pay for my own bill. That's our company policy. In addition, if you can't avoid it, then make clear to yourself that this reciprocity approach is the real opponent you have to fight. If you've received some favors in whatever form from someone who you hope to close a deal with, you can be sure that they sooner or later will ask for something in return. Take a favor for what it is, a weapon of influence trying to manipulate you. If you can distance yourself that much from this unexpected favor, you hopefully do not have that much of a problem not giving back when it comes to business terms. So we learned why reciprocity works. And we also discovered how to apply it ourselves without spending the world on it. And finally, we have learned how to fight the law of reciprocity. If you want to discover the 5 remaining strategies of influence from Cialdini's great book, then just leave a yes down in the comments below. And if you want to improve your negotiation results by tomorrow, also make sure to hit like and subscribe, because you then will be notified whenever a new video comes out. And as I promised before, I will make them short, I will make them crisp, they will be all under 10 minutes and quite applicable, so you can use them right away. So, see you tomorrow, and always happy negotiations.